Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Raw Opinions video. So I want to get to your thoughts like pretty much straight away. I do find that I do a talking points video where I share a lot of thoughts and then I kind of come in here and repeat myself quite a bit. So I'm going to say that this show was a 7. I think that's fair. I think that the main event was a bit flat. I think the ending was a bit flat. I think there's only one match that gets into the great range. And honestly, I don't think there was anything that really came close to great other than Kairi Iyo. I think people are going to debate about Becky Maxxine. The start of it was a bit flat, but then it really did pick up. So I'm interested to see what people have got to say about that. I'm interested to see what people have got to say about Roman, Jimmy, Jey. I'm interested to see what people have got to say about Asuka, Kairi, Iyo. I think these things all delivered. Those backstage segments, certainly the Seth and Paul Heyman backstage segment, the Roman backstage segments, really delivered. So looking forward to getting stuck into those. So yeah, I'm thinking about a 7, and I'm thinking that match of the night was Kairi against Iyo, and the areas of improvement, I think the other matches could have been stronger, and I think we needed a better ending to the show. So let's get to your thoughts. As I said, I just want to get to them as quickly as possible. We've had 27 comments. So Al Patata said Maxxine and Becky was good. It was a great crowd. I agree with that. I think the crowd were really good. Demon Kairi was unlocked tonight. It was a great performance from both. I love the Iyo Cody Seth promo packages. Feels like we're on the road to WrestleMania. The Cody Seth match really matters now. Not the crown jewel title part. I agree. I really like at that Heyman segment where he was like, you'll lose the locker room, you'll lose Braun and Bronson. And even I'm going to have to ask myself if I made the right decision. You know, why did I choose you instead of Roman Reigns? So, you know, really good. High stakes. LA Punk promo was good. Main event was just there. 6-man tag was perfect. It made me wish that we had a babyface Shinsuke on Raw for hot tags and Penta dance moments. I'm going to give this show a rare 8.5. So El Patata really enjoyed it. Carl said, howdy. I am plumb tickled to see our pride and joy, the finest damn thing to ever come out of Texas, Roxanne Perez, tearing it up and snag a big old win right here in the Lone Star State. Y'all have a rootin' tootin' good night and may God bless y'all. Solid show. Maxxine was great, says Carl. Austin said, not bad, 6.5. Love the segments with Roman and Usos. I'm curious what happens since Jey took the pin. Yes. What repercussions are we going to see? I'm thinking he will blame Jimmy. I mean, I don't think he's going to blame himself. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Jimmy seems to be a bit of a punching bag at the moment. So I'm thinking Jimmy might get the blame, even though it was not Jimmy's fault. I want more Asuka. She's my favourite thing on Raw with Roman. Love the story between Rio and Kabuki Warriors. Becky Maxxine was good, but the outside stuff killed it, says Austin. Uncle Howdy Dread said 10 out of 10. It was a good go-home show. Does Iyo turn on Rhea after she didn't help her? Well, I think she knows, and the commentators pointed out that Rhea was in Australia. So she wasn't able to help. She was helping the company promote Crown Jewel. So this was a good week, actually, for Kairi and Asuka to go after Iyo. There was no Rhea around. How would it make sense since Asuka slapped Kairi? Well, Asuka slapped Kairi. Kairi is obviously being very faithful to Asuka, because I think the tradition is that obviously, like, respect those that came before you. Asuka is the senior. Asuka was around, I believe, before Kairi and Iyo in the wrestling world. And so they very much look up to her. I suppose in a way, a lot like how talent in WWE look up to John Cena, look up to Randy Orton, but it's just there's a lot more respect that's kind of at play. And so she just does not want to turn on her senior. She does not want to turn on Asuka. So even with Asuka slapping Kairi, I think it's going to really take something. It's really going to need to go a bit further than that for Kairi to kind of stand up for herself. So, yeah, she's kind of really going through it at the moment, isn't she, Kairi? Taker 1990 said Raw was an 8. Storyline with Iyo, Rhea, Asuka, Kairi is, as you said, really entertaining. In my opinion, I would rather have Punk main event Mania 42 for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth by winning the Rumble and the Chamber. Okay, so you wouldn't do anything now. You would save it for further down the road. Also, AJ Lee Becky for the IC title at Mania 42. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, buds. Gamer Bro said Raw was okay. It felt a bit boring. Roman's promo was good. Main event felt like it had been cut short and rushed. So overall, a 4 from Gamer Pro. Mitchell said, I thought it was a solid show. Good in-ring action. Little tired of the rinse-repeat matches. I thought LA Knight's promo about love was weird. I wondered if he was just going down a road and maybe got a reaction that he didn't anticipate, and so he had to try and find a way out. I mean, he said you're known more for being a husband than for pipe bombs now. And I don't know if when he said that, he thought there was going to be a whoa, kind of wow, kill shot. You know, you've got the slippers on, Punk. You're known more for being a husband now than you are for being, you know, an innovator. But I mean, Punk's reaction was, what's wrong with that? Like, he loves his wife, he's proud of his wife, he's got no problem being seen as... so then I think LA Knight had to find a way out. And I don't know if that, like, love stuff was all... ad hoc. I agree, it felt a bit clunky. Weird is a good word, and random. The Maxxine match was surprisingly good, so I'm going to go 6.5 to 7, says Mitchell. Nico said Daze or Dad or what did I just watch? It was a great show, but a dumb ending. But I'll let it pass. It was creative, was in a coma and woke up. It was like creative was in a coma and woke up. Got you. Or maybe they just saw the ratings. But either way, I loved most of the show. I'm hoping it's a trend for the week. And Crown Jewel, more clips. OT dub 6.9. Nico, thank you. Real John said Raw this week was pretty solid. I thought it had some really good backstage segments. And the brawl with Bayley, Lyra, and Judgment Day was good. Becky versus Maxxine should not have been the opening match. I thought it had too much time. So overall, 6.5. Yeah, Real John, I agree. I don't think it needed the amount of time it had. The only thing I would say is the longer it went on, the more it seemed to get into a groove. So for me, I was really struggling with it in the early stages. It felt clunky. There was a few spots that felt off. But actually, by the time we got to the middle and towards the end, it kind of felt like it found its feet. So I would lose the first part of the match, keep the middle and the end in. But obviously you can't do that. So if you took time away, I wonder if it just would never have quite got to the level that it got to. Because I think it was a very acceptable match. I've just seen one review give it like 3 out of 5. And it seems like people in here were maybe even higher on it than that. Our community score was good 91, which I must admit I was surprised at. That felt a bit lower than what I was anticipating. But I think the start probably, you know, kind of stuck in people's minds. But yeah, I agree. I didn't feel like it needed the time that it had. But if you took that time away, then I don't think the match would have been as good as it was. Robbie said Raw was okay. Roman, unfortunately, we get the rematch. Promo segments were mid at best. Iyo Kairi stole the show. Crown Jewel doesn't blow me away enough to wake up at 5 a.m. Bound for Glory looks superior. Are you streaming it? Yes. Score 4.5. See you tomorrow for NXT and ex-WWE Showdown. Hannah gives it an 8 for a go-home show. Backstage segments really good, especially the Seth and Heyman one. Opening segment really good. Becky, Maxxine was all right. Six-man tag was decent and was Hannah's match of the night. Iyo Kairi, decent setups for a good match on Saturday. Usos against Penta night 7. It lacked in the ending. Chanel said, decent Raw. The only thing I want to focus on is how amazing Maxxine did. She showed that she could very well be good enough in the future to be a champion, said Chanel. Everything else, to be honest, wasn't that noteworthy. Iyo shined as normal, and Wade was a little extra on commentary tonight. So Chanel enjoying Maxxine's performance. Plum Girl said, Daze, when I talk about my stories at work, folks know it's wrestling. This week again is rocking with the stories backstage, and I've missed that tremendously. So many talking points. So many. Let's keep it up, WWE. So 7 from Plum Girl. See you later. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Plum Girl with a 7 there, same score as me. I think that might be surprising because we did have a lot of praise for this show, but I do look at the match scores from the community during our watch along. They definitely feel like they were lacking. I do look at like a return or a debut or, you know, a heel turn or some sort of OMG shocking moment that was missing from this show as well. Don't really feel like there really was one. So that obviously is an area that could have improved things as well. So, you know, if we had stronger matches, we would be knocking on the door of 7.75, maybe even 8. If we had an OMG moment, we'd be going to like an 8.5, maybe 8.75. I mean, this is where the show was lacking for me. But really, the rest of it was very good. Very, very fun. And actually, I can see a really good score here from Virux. Virux said, very good. It was the best Raw in months. Raw has always been consistent than SmackDown. This week felt even more different with a set of urgency. Everything from promos, matches, backstage segments had a meaning. Storytelling on this Raw was spectacular. Punk, LA, Fire, 9 out of 10. Chris said, Daze, very sports entertained, 6.75. Seemed like all the ladies wrestled and the men just complained. Having Roman and Punk on the show made it feel like a big deal. It could be me, but actually getting a clean finish in the main event was nice to see for once. That's a very positive way of looking at it. I'm not down on that. Connor said, here's my first opinion about Raw. I thought Raw was all right, to be honest. I really enjoyed the Roman promo at the start. Thought it was good. And I just didn't know why Asuka slapped Kairi. I think I potentially see Kairi turning on Asuka, or maybe the other way round. Dean said, I thought as a go-home show, it was better than the other go-home shows. In-ring was okay, but I did like the backstage segments. If the backstage segments were not good, then this Raw would have been, Love the stream. I think NXT will be better tomorrow or later today whenever you're watching this. Nishi said, I loved every bit of Raw tonight. Matches, backstage segments, and the promos. This was a coming out party for Maxxine. I popped when LA Knight outsmarted Punk to steal the victory and have the last laugh. So 9 out of 10, said Nishi. Opala said, the show was a good show. Wasn't the best. Could have been better. It seems like copy and paste. Like week now. The backstage segment from the Vision, though, was a step up. Bloodline story makes no sense now. AEW isn't copy and paste. Come over to this sides. No, thank you. I actually thought this was a good episode of Raw. So I don't think this is the strongest week to try and convince people to join the dark side that is AEW. Daryl gives it a 7.5. Says, surely Bronson has to win his match against Braun. He can't go 2-0 down in that feud. Again, Seth saying, Paul, I have to win. Is Brock incoming? That's a good shout. I don't know if Brock would travel all the way to Australia, though. I'm from Australia and I'm not going to the show, but it is great having WWE in the country. End of the show felt rushed, and see you tomorrow for NXT. Yeah, I agree. Whenever WWE are in the UK, it feels special and, you know, kind of nice seeing them post about being in London or doing meet and greets or trying local food or whatever it might be. So I agree. It is special to have them in your country. So enjoy it, my friends. Wrestling Warrior said, I'm going to score the Raw go home for Crown Jewel 7.8. Raymond said, Daze, I thought Raw tonight was good matches. They were very good and overall was better than last week's episode. Respectfully, I'm going to give it a 7.25. See you for NXT. See you for NXT. John Elite said, I would have preferred Braun versus Roman instead, but it makes sense since Bronson's from Australia. Sucks that Santos is leaving. I would love to see vignettes of Maxxine train him. That might help people, actually. I mean, part of the issue is that she obviously got called up. She wasn't ready. She's had some bad matches, but I do genuinely believe she is working hard at the PC, working hard with Natalya. I mean, people put the work in and they improve. So, you know, it is one of those where I think she is improving. I think they are kind of investing in her to try and, you know, help her get to the level that she should be at, to be honest, to be on the main roster. So, yeah, I agree. Seeing some of her kind of training vignettes would be good. Interesting back segments with Seth and Heyman. Brady said main event was very underwhelming. Kairi Iyo was awesome. Connor said, my second opinion, Becky, I liked Becky Maxxine match. Maxxine's winning was the biggest upset. I agree. I liked Roman talking to both Jimmy and Jey backstage. And I also liked the segment between LA Knight, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. I thought it was fascinating. I give it an 8 for Raw. Brendan, shout out to you. And Clay said, I love the show. If you don't tell Roxanne Perez, you are a boomer. And He Who Smiles said, no Wyatt 6. It gets a 1. So there we go. That was the community's thoughts about this week's show. Seems largely positive, to be honest. People kind of down for improvements with those backstage segments. Definite work that went into the show. This was not a show that was just dialed in, phoned in. Like, you can see they're really trying to tell some stories, and that is what we've been asking for. But to be honest with you, it has felt like the recent weeks have been much stronger. I mean, we've been saying for a while now that the shows feel like there's a bit more work that's gone into them. The shows feel like they have improved. So, yeah, that ball just seems to be rolling still. And it makes me optimistic for when we get past Crown Jewel that we should be able to keep this momentum going as we head to Survivor Series and, of course, John Cena's farewell match. So there we go. Thank you for the feedback. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget the Talking Points video is on the main channel right now. I'm going to run away and work on Unseen, and we will be back later for NXT Showdown. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.